Hi guys, I'm here with Geektown. We are at the premiere for Star Trek Picard, and I, for one, as a lifelong Trek fan, am incredibly excited to see exactly how good this is going to be and who's going to turn up on the red carpet. Let's check it out.
How does it feel to be cast in such a mysterious role that you can't talk about, no one has a clue about? How does it feel to be there, and what's the pros and cons of that for you?
Well, as much as it's driving everyone else crazy that I can't talk about it, it's driving me just as crazy, because I wish I could talk about this amazing character. But, I mean, the cool thing is that we get to... What I love is that the show is not being dropped all at once. It gets to be revealed, so people get to get a very exciting, slow reveal of what this mysterious girl is, who she could possibly be, and what is she up to.
How much do you enjoy all that speculation about your character? Do you dip into that and take a look?
I haven't looked, but my friends and family have told me, and they're like telling me all the theories, and it's fun to sit there and be like, "Ooh, that person's onto it. Oh, that person's way off. Oh,
so
that
people have guessed it. Some people have guessed it.
You know, some people are on the right path, is all I'll say."
Were you a fan of science fiction as a kid? Did you grow up watching Star Trek?
I did. Unfortunately, I didn't grow up watching Star Trek, and I am kicking myself about it, because going back, once I got the show, I went back, and since there's so many seasons of Next Generation, I was like, okay, first I'll just bop around to like the episodes that pertain to my character. I was like reading the descriptions of everything, and then I got to a certain point, season 4, and I just got hooked, and I just kept watching and have become a much bigger fan than I ever knew I was going to be.
Did it make it slightly less daunting interviewing for the role before you knew how iconic the series was?
Well, I mean, but the thing is, you always know that Star Trek is this iconic series. It's, even if you haven't watched it, you are aware of that, because, I mean, Trekkies invented fandom. You know that is what you're getting yourself into, but the amazing thing is getting to meet the fans and getting to see just how much love is there. That's like the only word I can use to describe it, because everyone they don't know what our characters are, they've never met us, but they still are giving us so much love and support already without even knowing who we are.
The whole feature in the series, I just wonder, what do you make of our relationship with technology? Because in the series, of course, it deals with ones that have disconnected from the cube, like the cubes. How do you think we are dealing with our sort of relationship with technology?
Well, I think what's so great about Star Trek in general and this show is showing that the dynamic of here's pros, here are the cons. Let's let you decide, see where you lie, because obviously we've seen with the Borg Cube that technology can be really dangerous. Technology can take a turn on us, but we've also seen the pros. We've seen data, and so it's really what the show does is present all the ideas to you and goes, you decide.
What were the highlights of your experience shooting Star Trek? Like new characters, old characters, what were the highlights for you?
I think anytime all of us were working together, like Michelle, Allison, Santiago, and Patrick, when we're all there, those are always my favorite days on set, because we've gotten so close over the course of filming, and it's really become a family, and we goof off way too much and have far too much fun, but it makes going to work not work.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's exciting. I'm mostly excited to see the show. The rest of the stuff is fun going in, but I've got friends who work on it, obviously, and friends who directed it, and they told me it's something very special that Patrick's doing.
How do you look back on your experience on Star Trek Discovery? You've had a few years away from it now. You still seem as passionate about it all these years on.
Stories are powerful, and, you know, the genesis and the point of the whole thing is to hold a mirror up to mankind and show us that we could do better, that we should do better. And these are increasingly dark times. We need those messages. So I'm proud of the show, and I think it's an important show. It can regenerate forever because it's telling us to aspire.
And you give one of the newer Star Trek actors a piece of advice on what you've learned as a Star Trek actor.
What do you mean? Steal everything that's not nailed down.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Come back. Was it one of excitement, nerves, getting lost? How did you feel?
My experience was a little different. I heard about this first 2 years ago at the Hollywood Bowl. drinking champagne with a friend of mine, as we do in the summers. And about 2 or 3 glasses into the evening, he decided to say, okay, here's what I'm thinking. I want to bring 7 back. And I laughed and said, it's funny. It's really funny. And he said, no, I'm serious. Here's what I'm thinking. And he pitched me sort of the ideas that they were thinking of what she would be like now. And it was honestly really intriguing. But I didn't think anything was going to come of it because people pitch ideas in Hollywood all the time and nothing happens. Cut to Creative Arts Emmys last year. I'm lined up backstage to go on for Star Trek to get an award. I'm behind Alex Kurtzman. And he said, oh, yeah, I understand you talked to James. Yeah, we've been talking a lot about 7 in the writer's room. I was like, you're actually doing this? I had no idea. So it's pretty cool.
Thanks. Good to have you back.
Thank you.
How much have you missed, Wayne? Have you missed the most?
I didn't know that I missed it. I thought I was done. I had said goodbye to her. But it's amazing to be back in this world and with my friends and playing this amazing character who has developed even further. I love who she's become.
How do you approach her differently now from the years past? How did she feel to you as a character when you came back to her slightly further down the line?
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Yeah, when I got the first script, because she's so different and so much more human, that I was sort of panicking about, because the issue that I had was her voice, because her voice was so specific for 4 years on Voyager. And so I had to find a way to make that make sense, to make it true as an actor, that it's the same person, not a completely different character. And once I found that, then it was great.
I like the idea that you found it hard to play a more human individual.
Yeah.
When you're a human being.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to make sure that it's not a completely different character that just happens to have the same prosthetic makeup. You know what I mean? I wanted to make sure that it's true to who she is, not just as an actor, but for the fans as well. And I think we got it.
And with a show that's so concerned with hope and possibility, how vital is that in the time in which we live now? Does it feel further away than ever, the concept of a unified planet?
Yes, of course it does. So we need hope. We need a hero. We need this, I think, as much as we ever have.
That my family would sit down and watch was Star Trek. The first interracial kiss was on Star Trek. As a biracial child, that was the first time I got to see someone telling the story of my parents, the first time. And when I got this job and I had that flashback, I didn't realize how important that moment, that scene, seeing that kind of inclusion was to a child. So all I can think of now in this moment, when I think of Issa Briones and myself, Eurasian, biracial, we're creating that mirror for all these other children that may not have seen themselves. I mean, it's a huge, amazing responsibility. I love Star Trek that it has always done that. It's always been about diversity. It's always been about inclusion, and not sort of saying like, oh, you can be black because we're in Africa. It's the world. It's the world. So yes, I love that you asked that question, because it literally is one of the major things that I'm so excited and so honored that I get to do for some other little curly-haired beige monster.
So, thank you.
I'm not bad. You all right?
Good, thank you. Yes. Hello.
So, how much did you geek out on set for the first time?
I mean, it was very much a field. People say this phrase is used a lot, but it genuinely is an honour to be a part of something which has got the history of this show, which is something which came out in the 60s and inspired generations of kids all over the world, with the fact that it's got a cast that is multiracial, with the fact that it's a positive spin on humanity, on what would happen if we fast forward 1,000 years and actually, all right, some stuff's gone down, but there's a heart with which humanity is carrying on, and people trying to understand each other from different planets where they might look different, and I think that the fact that is where this whole thing started, and that we're still telling that story now, I don't think it's a mistake. I think it's a very clear reason why people are into it.
Was that enticing for you as an actor to go to somewhere like that?
I mean, Patrick Stewart was what initially made me want to do it, because he's just such a legend of stage and screen. He's played incredible roles on. My mum used to watch him when she was at Stratford upon Avon, when she was going to the theatre when he was probably in his early 20s. And his enthusiasm, his energy, his grace, his loyalty towards the people he's working with. He's an absolute gentleman and a total laugh as well. So he's everything you'd want.
and then the creative minds involved in it, the writers, the producers, Akiva, Michael, Alex, and the other actors that they got on board for it are just all absolutely like top notch. And so the conversations I had with the writers before officially coming on board was just very exciting, and just it was mind blowing to try and understand it. I definitely didn't know very much when I started off on this journey, and I still definitely don't know as much as a lot of people that are here tonight. But I do know enough about my character to tell the story of my story.
How did it vary working on dramas versus working on science fiction? What did you feel was extra things you had to learn to step into other planets and other worlds?
I mean, you're, with any story, you're trying to sort of. There's always a lot of questions, and whether the questions are about more Earth-based things, whether it's what music a character is into, or where they went to school, or what planet they lived on, or what their spaceship can do. They're all fundamental questions which you've got to somehow try and imbue into what you're doing. And I don't know, just try and understand it and tell it with some reality.
And it ended on a note of, I wonder what will happen next, where you will go, maybe there's already a leader. How did it feel decades later to receive this phone call to pose what's going to happen next to that character?
It wasn't a call, it was over drinks with a friend at a concert. But I was in disbelief, honestly, that it would ever happen. But when it did, I was very, very happy. Very, very excited. And of course, the day I got to reunite with Patrick, with Picard, it was a very emotional moment, to get to see the two characters to meet back up again after that last. We hadn't seen each other since that last moment. He said, "I think you're a leader," right? So
it's good to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Michael, absolute pleasure to talk with you. Is it a bittersweet or excited feeling? You've done the first season, you're moving on in the second one, to be here at the premiere and to have lived a life and to moved on.
It's just exciting, and it's a relief actually to finally get to this point. We've been working on this. This is Kirsten Beyer, one of the other producers and writers on the show. It's been a long journey for us, even longer than it has for any of the actors or anyone except maybe Patrick. And to be here tonight is just, it's exciting though that people are going to get a chance to see it.
And for yourself, you've written books, you've got a huge involvement with Star Trek.
Yes.
What's it like to be here at the premiere of an event, one that you've been able to put your hands on so early on?
It's completely surreal. You imagine a moment like this, but you never let yourself think it could actually happen. I'm still not sure it's happening. It's incredible.
How did it feel to take on the weight of expectation that came with this particular title?
I don't know that was...
What was the question?
The weight of expectation.
I think we were so concerned from the beginning with making something that would be worthy of Patrick and that would live up to our promises that we made to him. And then also, I think, to be worthy of being called Star Trek. Star Trek is something that means a lot to both of us, to Akiva Goldsman and Alex Kurtzman, and it was an obligation, sense of obligation. So I think our expectations were the ones that we were having a hard time satisfying.
Yeah, the bar was high no matter what.
Did you get the idea for this, to bring this character back and to bring this setting back as the world became more fractured, or seemingly became more fractured, to return to a place where there was a sense of unity and possibility and hope?
Well, Star Trek's always that, right?
Yes.
And Star Trek didn't go away. It's always been here. So I think it was more about Patrick's willingness to do it.
Yeah. But there was also a distinct feeling, I think, in the fan community once it was announced that he was coming back, that the world could certainly use a lot more Picard right now. Yeah.
He's the one white guy of senior age that we actually are glad to see back, right? So, is that fair enough to say?
Went on a very short list. Very short list.
Yeah.
What's it like to create a Star Trek series from the ground up?
So much fun. So much fun.
Yeah.
It's just...
we call it work, but we're really playing.
And we love this stuff, and just sitting down at the keyboard and typing the words, they step onto the transporter pad and dematerialize or whatever. Just like, I can't believe I get to type those words. It's such a thrill. Yeah.
And as a fan of the show yourself, I mean, what's it like for you going on the sets, like, and sort of like being part of the production? I mean, do you kind of fan out a little bit over it when they're...
I try really hard not to. I try to stay very, very cool. There are moments when that's harder than others. The first time you get to work with Jonathan Frakes, who is a blast. The first day Jerry Ryan was on set, because I've written the 7 of 9 character for so many years, and now here she is in real life. But then at the same time, you know, you're collaborators and partners working together to create a thing. So then that kind of all goes away, and you just kind of get to work.
And the return of Jerry Ryan as well. I mean, that's a huge deal for the fans. What was that like? Did she take much convincing? And what was the kind of tipping point?
I don't think she did.
No, I think she was interested. When she heard about the approach that we were taking, and it wasn't going, much like Patrick, you know, he wanted to know that it wasn't going to be the same as the last time he had done it. And I think Jerry felt the same. But she was also very, it was as much a problem for her as it was for us, the writers, to try to figure out what that character is like after all these years. How has she changed? In what ways? Physically, but also emotionally. And we kind of figured that out together, with us, with her.
And so there are other franchises, I won't mention them by name, that the fans don't always like change. They like a certain sort of pattern and sort of a rinse-repeat setting on the series. What is it about moving the characters on that kind of gives you that? Is it the fandom that are accepting the fact that you move characters on and take to new places?
I don't know if fans always know what they want. Sometimes it's a matter of what they need. The thing that I think they are always responding to is how Star Trek connects to their lives in the moment. And the moment of the 90s was one thing, and it was very, very exciting and all of that. This is a different time. And I think if they allow themselves to sort of let go of the preconceptions, they're going to realize how much this can speak to them as well.
If you could take another Star Trek title and bring that back, what would you choose to work on next?
I don't know about bringing anything back, more as finding new ways to combine what we have with things that are brand new.
Yeah, the Star Trek franchise is expanding, and there are going to be a lot of other series. We do Picard, but there are going to be some new series coming. There's a Section 31 series coming, and the Star Trek universe will be expanding on television.
How does your literary background kind of prepare you for TV writing? Is it quite a crossover, or is it more challenging writing novels, perhaps?
I think the fact that storytelling is serialized now means that as novelists we're sort of uniquely well prepared to tackle stories of that scope.
Yeah, but the collaborative part of it is what's the big difference. And, you know, when you're writing a book, you sit by yourself in a room with the door shut in your pajamas, and you know, nobody really cares if you show up for work that day. And you know, with this, we're all in it together. We're obligated to each other, and also we have a lot of fun. It's a nice change. I've been writing books for a long time, all by myself. To work with Kirsten and Akiva and Alex and everybody else was fun.
Is there anything you couldn't be too precious about that you maybe wrote in sort of these Voyager relaunch novels that might get moved on or changed around in sort of the TV series, or was it all quite fluid for you?
Well, I think all of that had to be let go, right? We've created this wonderful, brilliant, rich universe in this one aspect of it, and now we had to be free to start over and do whatever we wanted to, and that was easy to embrace, really. Yeah.
As you guys are both fans, were you tempted to sort of write yourself in as bit part characters or sneak in the background in a red shirt?
But Akiva.
Yeah, Akiva lobbied to play any possible part in any episode, and we had to keep telling him no. Yeah. His talents lie elsewhere.
I was wondering as well, you're talking about the way the universe is expanding on the small screen, the different shows you're going to have on there. Do you keep in touch with the writers on the other shows? Do you bring each other up going, what have you done with so-and-so today? And sort of like discuss about things that you've done? And
not as much as we should, probably, to a degree.
When there are specific crossover issues, we have the ability to do that.
So do you forward plan continuity then with the other writers that who are working on shows?
Well, we're all sort of working in different time periods. I work on 2 shows. I work on Discovery as well as Picard, so I've got both those in my head all the time. But most of the shows are so separated that it's not necessary in the way you're probably thinking.
It's quite handy to have multiple dimensions and time anomalies and things to utilize.
Exactly.
Alternate
realities.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Thank you.